Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to all Vaishnavas, all devotees.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Vanchakalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhaya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhayo Vaishnavebhayo Namo Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute सप्ता कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते मधुसूदनाय बापूजी नामने नमस्ते मधुसूदनाय भक्तिपाद प्रियायते दुर्लभ कृष्ण भक्ति अति सहृदय प्रेम से बोलो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासखी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we'll have a concluding session. We'll be completing the
Krishna.
Bhagavatam Tales 3 book. Hare Krishna. So which is the last, which will be the last couple of stories are left, which we'll do. So we had started last time with the Moon Dynasty. So we went through the Sun Dynasty, the Suryavanshi, where Lord Ram and Ikshvaku, Dashrath Maharaj, there are many. And then now we started with Moon Dynasty. Then there we heard about King Pururava, who was a grandson of Moon, and then he was married to Urvashi. How he got too much attached to Urvashi, and then after she left. And then within this dynasty, there was a king named Gadi. Then he had a beautiful daughter, Satyavati. One sage, Richika, came to marry his daughter. Then he asked for a condition that bring 1,000 shining horses with 1 year plaque, either left or right. And the sage arranged, and then he got married. Then Satyavati and her mother both wanted to have a child. Then this Richika sage, he gave them he did a yagna and gave them prasadam, and he did a separate yagna for mantras for his wife and for his mother-in-law. But his mother-in-law thought that his wife would be getting, he would have given better, a little stronger kind of a mantras for his wife. So she asked for exchanging this thing, rice bowls. And then when they exchanged, so then her wife, her mother-in-law, who was a Kshatriya, she got a Brahmana child, and his wife Satyavati was destined for a Kshatriya child, but Lord Sage Rachika deferred this, saying that okay, your child will be a Brahman, but his son will be grandson, your grandson will be a Kshatriya. So that's where Jamadagni was a great sage, one of the 7 Saptarishi. He was born, and to Jamadagni was a son named Parshuram. So he was one of the sons of sage Jamadagni, and Parshuram are very powerful. So Parshuram's meaning means Lord Ram with an axe. So Parsh is axe, Lord Ram. So Lord Ram who has come with an axe. So we heard about his story how Jamadagni cow was taken away, Kamdenu cow was taken away by a proud king, Kartavir Yar Arjuna. So he came and he took away his cow, and when Parshuram came to know, he killed that king and he killed his army. Then the 10,000 sons came and killed Jamadagni when Parshuram had gone for a holy tour. So, and then afterwards, when Parshuram came, he killed all the 10,000 sons of Kartavir Arjuna, and he killed 21 times the Kshatriyas who had created, who were not following the Dharma, and they were ruling the kingdom by disturbing people. They were not ruling properly. So Lord Parshuram, some other stories like Lord Parshuram is immortal. He stays. He's still in this place, and Parshuram. So one more thing is, the Goa place, the Goa township has been built when Lord Parshuram pushed the ocean back, and that island was created. So that island is actually called. It's supposed to be Parshuram Kshetra. So it is. Then he actually pushed the ocean back. He fought with the ocean. And Parshuram was also the guru of Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Karna. So he was is known to be the guru of them. So very great people. So he actually taught Brahmastra to Karna, but he also cursed him that that this knowledge will not be useful to him. So Parshuram was also this thing, guru of Karna. And Parshuram gave Sudarshan Chakra to Lord Krishna. And also Parshuram, once when he went to meet Lord Shiva. So Lord Ganesh was sitting outside. He did not allow him to go in. Then Parshuram became angry and he hit an axe on Lord Ganesh, which broke the teeth. One teeth of Lord Ganesha is broken. So Ek Dant we say. So one teeth which was broken, it was broken by Lord Parshuram. So if you see Lord Parshuram, when he used to kill this Kshatriyas, he killed at the speed of mind. So I was telling this same thing will happen when Kalki will come, Lord Kalki will come. So now I'm just reading, actually Kalki will be, Parshuram will be there till Lord Kalki appears. And then till the last avatar. And he will instruct Kalki, he will teach him, give the weapons, he will he'll teach him to worship Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva will give him the weaponry, celestial weaponry. And the way Lord Parshuram killed Lord Kshatriyas, Kalki will also kill all the unwanted people on the earth. So when Lord Kalki appears and Lord Vishnu appears as his last avatar as Kalki, Lord Parshuram will be the one who will be guiding, who will be teaching, who will be giving the knowledge to Kalki, and he will teach him. He'll teach Kalki how to do a tapasya for Lord Shiva, so that Lord Shiva gives him everything. So this is, Parshuram is such a great personality, and he's there. So Ganesha's one teeth was broken. He was a guru of Dronacharya, Bhishma, and Karan, and such a great personality Parshuram was. So this Goa city, actually Goa has been created by Parshuram. So this is what we heard about Parshuram's story. And then afterwards, now we continue from there. So this dynasty, we are in the Moon dynasty. So this everybody is coming in the part of Moon dynasty. And then now next we have a story of Yayati and Devyani. So there was a king, Vrishaparva. Vrishaparva was the king of Asuras, and he had a beautiful daughter named Sarmista. This is actually a very practical story of the material world. Actually, it is in that yuga, but it is exactly the story which happens in material world. So there's a king of Asura. He's a king of Asura, Vishwarupa, and he has a daughter called Sharmista, and she was innocent but angry by nature. So he was angry, but there was one. So he had a guru named. So who was the guru of Asura? The Asura's guru was Shukracharya. So Shukracharya has been the guru of Asura, the demons. So Bali Maharaj's guru was also, the priest was Shukracharya. So Shukracharya was the guru. And then this Shukracharya had a daughter named Devyani. And Devyani and Sharmista, they were very close friends. They were very good friends. And So they used to play together, they used to enjoy. So once what happened, Devyani and Sharmishta, they went to take a bath. They were playing with their friends and they went to take a bath in a lake, and they had left their clothing on the lake. And at that time, Lord Shiva and Parvati just passed from the on a bull and the bull. So they just passed, and then these girls felt shy and they suddenly ran to take up their dress. So in this hurry, what happened? Sharmishta was a daughter of this thing, Kshatriya, and Devyani was a Brahmana girl. So Sharmishta, by mistake, took this dress of this thing, Devyani. So Sharmishta took the dress of Devyani by mistake and she wore it. And Devyani became very angry for such a small mistake. Devyani became very angry and she rebuked Sharmishta. So she just fired, saying this, Sharmishta, why did you wear my dress? I come from a Brahmana family and I am superior to you. You are like my maid servant. You have put on my dress just like a dog snatches the ghee meant for a sacrifice. You have no etiquette. So she's so wild, she's just talking, you have no etiquette. The Brahmanas created this universe by their austerities. They are the face of Lord Vishnu, and they always keep the Lord within their hearts. They are natural teachers of the entire world and are worshipable even by the Devtas. Among the Brahmanas, we are even more respectable because we come from the Bhrigu dynasty. Your father is our disciple, yet you dare to put on my dress. For such a small incident with a good friend who by mistake takes her dress and wears it, she becomes so angry and she starts firing her friend like this, like we come from a Brahmana family, so here her pride and anger shows and how it will, backfire for such a small thing. And in our practical life, we have seen, sometimes people become angry for small things and they take everything on an ego personally, so which is very dangerous. So here, after Devyani told like this, then Sharmishta also became very angry. So said, you beggar, you boast about yourself even without understanding your position. Don't you Brahmanas wait at our house for your livelihood like crows? So she's telling, you Brahmanas are beggars. You wait outside our house like crows, the way crows wait for food. My father gives charity to your father, and thus you people survive. Without we Kshatriyas, you Brahmanas you cannot even live. And she became so angry. And what she did, Sharmishta, she snatched her dress from Devyani. So Devyani is not having a dress. Devyani's dress is worn by Sharmishta. So Devyani is holding Sharmishta's dress. So Sharmishta took her dress back and she just pushed Devyani into a well. So Devyani is not having dress and she is pushed into a well. And Sharmishta goes away. She just goes home. So this is the situation. Now Devyani is in a well without having proper clothes. And this fight happens between them and both Sharmishta has gone to home. So Sharmishta is the king of a daughter of that Asura. And Devyani is the daughter of Sukracharya sage. So Devyani, then what happens when Devyani is in the well? So there is a king named Yayati. So now this gets connected with the Moon Dynasty story. So Yayati is the king from Moon Dynasty. He comes from the Moon Dynasty. And he just passed from the well and he heard the voice. He came to the well to drink water and he saw Devyani inside the well. So first what he did, he gave her upper cloth because she was not having proper clothes. And then he caught her hand and pulled her out of the well. And Devyani became very grateful to Yati said, and she said, O king, thank you for saving me. By holding my hand, you have accepted me as your wife, as your married wife. Our relationship has been arranged by destiny. Although I come from a Brahmana family and you are a Kshatriya, I would like to marry you. So now Devyani, Yayati comes and he pulls Devyani out of the well by pulling her hand. So there are in Shastras now there are some 7, 8 types of marriages which are described, but now all are not authorized. Some are basically in an exceptional situations can be. So here in this case, by pulling Devyani out by holding her hand, that was also considered to be a marriage. So here Devyani is saying, since you pulled me out, so that is a marriage. So Rukmani was married by Lord Krishna by kidnapping. So kidnapping also is considered to be a way of marriage, but it's not authentic now. At that time, means in exceptional cases that was done. But here Devyani was pulled out and she said, now you have to take me, I'm your wife. And she's telling, why this is my destiny. So she's telling although I come from she's from a Brahmana family. She's the daughter of Sukracharya. And she's saying, I was destined to be married to a Kshatriya because I was cursed for that. So now, see, Devyani's anger first we saw how she behaved when her dress was by mistakenly taken over by Sharmishta. And now again, her one more character, this thing will be revealed. So how she was cursed. So she there was a son of Brahaspati named Kacha. Kacha was a son of Brahaspati, and he had come to Shukracharya for learning some Mritya Sanjeevani. Mritya Sanjeevani Vidya is basically reviving the dead person back. So he had come to learn this Vidya, learn this knowledge from his father, Shukracharya. So he was son of Brahaspati and come. And then when she had seen him, Kacha, he was with extraordinary qualities. So Devyani actually wanted to marry Kacha, that person, the son of Brahaspati. But Kacha, where she expressed to her, so see, she was so bold. She went and she expressed to the sage, Kacha, that, I want to marry you. But Kacha refused, saying that, no, you are the daughter of my guru. So I cannot see here, daughter and mother of guru is considered to be very, very important. You cannot have any wrong relationships or marrying, thinking of such thought. So see, this Kacha was very knowledgeable, proper, following his rituals. And he said, no, I cannot marry you. You are a daughter of my guru. I am learning from him, Ritu Sanjeevani. How can I marry you? And she became very angry. So again, here her anger comes. So she became angry and she cursed him, saying that, that you will, whatever you learn, you will forget. So in fact, your knowledge will become useless. So the poor chap, he came, he was learning Mr. Sanjeevani, and then because of this curse, he could not, could be useless for him. Then this sage, this Kacha also became angry and he cursed her, saying that you will never get a Brahmana husband. So you will never get a Brahmana husband. So that was a curse. And because of this curse, now she is getting married to Yayati, who is a Kshatriya. So this is linkage of how she accepted Yayati. So on Devyani's request, Yayati accepted, saying that, okay, I'll accept it. But he returned to his palace. He said, we'll come and I'll take you there. So Devyani also, after this incident, she went back to home. Because she had also not gone home. And there when she went back to her house, and she complained to her father, Shukracharya, saying that, see what all happened. Sharmista did so thing to me. So it started coming. Sharmista pushed me in the well. She took my dress. She wore my dress and she told me so many bad things, saying that you are crow, we are Brahmanas are like beggars. And we sit outside the king's palace like, waiting for crows. So she told, and then Shukracharya also became very angry. And in that angry mood, he went with her. He took his daughter and went to meet his disciple, Vishwa Parva. So Vishwa Parva, that Asura, the father of Sharmishta. So he goes there, and then Vishwa Parva saw that Shukracharya is coming in a very angry mood. He immediately fell down to Shukracharya's feet. The sages are actually, they are known for forgiveness. One of the quality of sages is forgiveness. So immediately Vishwa Parva fell on the feet of Shukracharya, trying to pacify him. Then Shukracharya politely, he became a little calm and he spoke to saying that, O king, your daughter has insulted my daughter. Now you must please my daughter and fulfill whatever she asks from you. So Vishwarpa immediately, so he's telling, okay, your daughter has, Shukracharya is telling to Vishwaparva that, your daughter has insulted my daughter. So now whatever she says, you have to do. So Vishwaparva said, okay, I'm willing to do that. So then Devyani said, so now Devyani is telling, see her third mistake. First, she pushes on the well, then see how her life happened. She was cursed by sage Kacha. And now she's saying that whenever I marry, Sarmishta must come with me as my maid servant along with her friends. What a ego, what personal ego. She's saying, I'll marry, she should come as a maid. She should come as a maid servant along with me. And she's a daughter of a king. And he did not, Vishwaparva did not have any choice. He was surprised. But he was afraid of Shukracharya's curse. So he said, okay, Sharmista will go as a maid servant. So when this marriage happened between Devyani and King Yayati, Sharmista went as a maid servant. So she went as a maid servant, as a slave to Devyani. So see, such small things, small ego led this small item led to such a big thing. So she only, what happened? Sharmista by mistake took Devyani's dress in a hurry. And this has resulted in such a ego clash between two close friends. Close friends, suddenly they become enemies. And she's making her friend a slave And now, after that, when Devyani married Yayati, Sharmista was taken as a maid servant. And then, when the marriage happened, Devyani gave birth to two sons. But what happened? Yayati was also attracted to Sharmista because she was also a beautiful daughter of that king. And so he was attracted to her. He married, he basically got sons, children from Sharmista also. So he got two sons from Devyani, he got three sons from Sharmista. So as good as he had both the wives. And Devyani was not aware of this. But when Devyani came to know, then she became very angry again. So immediately she went. And uh, complained again to Shukracharya. Then she again, every time, generally you have the daughters, what they do, they go to their parents for complaining against their husband. So here she did not have a mother. Her father was Shukracharya and he was very powerful. She goes to Shukracharya and complains, saying that, see, my husband, he got sons from that Sharmista also, who had come as a maid servant with me. And then Shukracharya angrily comes and he goes to Yayati and says, "You fool, I curse you to become disfigured by old age and invalidity." So what he did? He made Yayati an old man. Suddenly from young, he became old and then immediately became old. And Shukracharya suddenly saw, yeah, he's become old. And then he realized, if he becomes old, how will he take care of my daughter? So he also realized, Shukracharya, and because of his daughter's complaint and his becoming angry, he gave a curse to a daughter's husband only by making him old. Now, how will his daughter live with such an old person? Then he said, okay, what you do, you can exchange your old age with someone who is young, so if he's willing to give you your youth, you exchange. So now Yayati was thinking, what to do. So what he did, so he had an eldest son named Yadu. So Yadu is the same Yadu dynasty under which Lord Krishna will appear. So he requested Yadu, saying that, my dear son, can you take my old age and give me your youth? So Yadu did not agree because he did not want, Lord Krishna was supposed to come in his dynasty and did not want that to get delayed if he had agreed. So he did not agree. And then he asked other sons also. So he had 5 sons. So he asked other sons. Other 3 also did not agree. Finally, he had a young son named Puru. So Puru was a very, very, obedient son of this thing. Very, very obedient of Yadi. And Puru said, my dear father, who can repay a father's debt? By your mercy, I got this human life. If giving my youth to you satisfy you, I will happily do that. In this way, Puru exchanged his old age with his youngest son. Yayati exchanged his old age with his youngest son, Puru. And Puru took the old age, and then Yayati became young back, and then he started ruling the kingdom, and he started enjoying his life the way he was doing. And he was just enjoying to his satisfaction for 1,000 years. So for 1,000 years, Puru remained old, and Yayati got his youth age back. And afterwards he realized that, I am enjoying so much, but I'm not satisfied. So he realized, then he started getting detached from wealth. And one day he decided, this is not the right thing what I'm doing. So he called his wife and saying, this world is temporary place filled with miseries. Whatever enjoyment we have here is temporary. Hence, we must always worship Lord Hari fully and then aim to reach his eternal abode. So he realized, what I'm doing is wrong. I should start worshipping Lord Hari, and he detached. So what he did, he now returned his youth back to his son Puru. So Puru became young again and took the old age, and he Yayati divided all his kingdom amongst his sons, and he worshipped Lord Vasudev, and he went for the spiritual world. Devyani also, by the time, now I know, she had also become proper. She was, her anger had gone away, and she also went with her husband, and they both surrendered to Lord Krishna. So one thing we saw in the whole story of Yayati is, and Devyani and Sharmista, see how small ego can result in big anger and big problems. So false ego is very, very dangerous. Never we should take personally. We should have this forgiveness is a very, very best quality. You forgive, you will feel very happy about it. So if Devyani would have forgiven her friend Sharmista for taking the dress, such thing would not happen. But this is all the destiny. All things happen because the Lord also wants us to learn from these incidents. So here the lesson is of detachment. So the lesson says supplying butter to a fire doesn't diminish the fire, but increases it. Similarly, allowing oneself to enjoy this world doesn't decrease one's desires, but increases them. So if you put fire in a sacrifice, it will increase the fire. Same way in the material world, if the more we enjoy, we say, we bas abhi enjoy kar lete hain, afterwards we'll become old, so let us enjoy now. This will never end our desires. Our desires will keep on increasing. It is exactly like that, our desires will increase. Material pleasures remain attractive until one truly realizes their uselessness. So there'll be a stage there's a stage which will come when we realize whatever we are doing is useless. Whatever material enjoyment we are doing is useless. The only best thing we can do is spiritual journey. So Bhagavatam, until we experience the higher spiritual pleasure. So yesterday we had one kirtan in one of the house. So that family felt, such a great pleasure that kirtan, when this happened in their house, kirtan and katha, they said such a blissful thing is this. Some of them attended a kirtan first time in their life. They said, wow, it's so beautiful. Such a blissful, nice thing. And when they listened to the katha, they felt really nice. So until we realize this, our spiritual pleasures, it's a real higher taste. And that is the best thing. So Bhagavatam represents the stories of great people like Pururava, Yayati, and Indra, who desired material joys and got frustrated. Pururava got married to Urvashi. He became desperate behind her. But afterwards he realized, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. Yayati also happened the same thing. Indra also does the same thing. And finally they become frustrated, and then they take shelter of the Lord. And we should also learn from their realization and take Lord's shelter. So this was the story of this thing. So in this, I'm just reading some paragraphs from Nectar of Devotion. There's a story, this thing which I'm reading. So there is one, how devotional service, how chanting, how bhakti is the most important thing. So here one thing is listed. So generally people in the Padma Puran, it is said there are 4 kinds of effects for sinful activities. Whatever sinful activities do, there are 4 effects to that. So which are like that, first is the effect which is not yet fructified. So it says, first is the effect which is not yet fructified. Means what? I have done a sin, but I have not got that result as of now. I have not got that punishment. It will come in future. So like this last story comes that, it was 50 births before he had done a sin. He had killed this thing, 50 children of one bird. So, 100 children of one bird, he had killed them. So then that sin he did, but he got the punishment after 50 births. So after his 50 births, he got that punishment. So when Dhritarashtra asked Lord Krishna, why it took 50 births for me to got that punishment? So Lord tells him, see, that sin you did that, but after that, the punishment what you were supposed to get, your 100 sons also had to be killed in front of you. But since you had to get 100 sons, so you had to get more 50 births to do those pious activities. You were supposed to do some punya to get some sons. Otherwise, how will we punish you? So first thing, you did a sin of killing 100 children of 100 children of one bird, and now you have to be punished. So for that, you have to get 100 sons. So for getting 100 sons, you have to do that pious activities. For that, you took 50 births and you did that pious activity so that in your 51st birth, you got 100 sons and then you were punished. So this is like this, the effect which is not yet fructified. So we have done a sin, we'll get punishment in future. This is one effect. The second effect is the effect which is lying as a seed. This is very different. The effect which is lying as a seed. This means what? In my heart, I have a tendency to do a sin, but it is lying as a seed. I will do some sin later, and then after that, I'll get the effect of that also. So this is the tendency of doing that. That seed of sin is still there in me. Third is the effect which is already mature. Means I did a sin, I'm already punished for that. Maybe I became ill, my accident happened, something happened, or in any of the births, I have completed. My sin has been, that has matured, the effect is mature. And fourth is the effect which is almost mature. Means currently I am going through that punishment. So the effect of my sin, which is almost mature. So this is the 4 types of sins. And this sins can only be vanquished by surrendering up to the Lord Vishnu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engaging in his devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. So the only way of atonement, the only way of killing these sins is by devotional service. There's no other method. No other method. So whatever effects we are going to get for our sins, this is the only method. And then Lord also describes, various types of people, people who do tapasya, yogis, mystic yogis. Every type of people are there, but the supermost are the devotional devotees, the bhakt, because Lord sells himself to them. He comes under their action, so he agrees, he takes care of them. So that's why devotional service is the best thing to do. So there are a lot of examples given on this side. So so devotional service, the lesson, the moral is devotional service. Only devotional service can take us out of this material life, of the ocean of material life, and come out of the cycle of birth and death, and we'll get the best thing. We'll get the happiness of being associated with the Lord, doing his service. So next in this of Moon Dynasty, we have 2 more chapters to go. We'll just we'll go through that. So the next story is of Dushmanta and Shakuntala. So Shakuntala is also one of the. So now this Puru dynasty was there. Puru, Yayati and Puru, basically they are all coming from the Moon dynasty. So in this dynasty, there was a king named Dushmanta. Dushmanta was a king, and once he went to hunt in the forest. So when he was hunting in the forest, he came near a hermitage of a sage, Kanva. So there was a sage Kanva whose hermitage was there, and there he saw one beautiful lady called Shakuntala. So Dushmanta, when he saw Shakuntala, he just became flat. So, she was beautiful, and he started talking to her, trying to attract her. So he said, whose daughter are you? Why are you living in this forest alone? It appears that you are the princess, a Kshatriya's daughter. I am Dushmanta from the Puru dynasty. Interesting. I am Dushmanta from Puru's dynasty. Who are you who look to be a daughter of a Kshatriya, or you're looking like a princess? And this is the way he was trying to speak to her. And then Shakuntala replied, O king, I am the daughter of Vishwamitra. My mother is Menka, a damsel from heaven. I personally never saw or knew my parents. Now I am growing under the protection of Kanva Muni. I welcome you to our humble hermitage. Please tell me, how can I serve you? Would you like to eat some wild rice? You can stay here as long as you want. She was also reciprocative to Dushmanta. So she also kind of liked him, and she also replied very detailed, that I'm the daughter of Vishwamitra and Menka, but I never saw my parents. My parents left me to Kanva Muni, and I grew under his protection. And then you see, women generally, Shastras, they say they are always protected. So they are protected in their childhood by the parents, by the father, and then after in the youth by a husband, and after youth then by the sons, the son who takes care of the woman this way. So Shakuntala was also taken care by the sage because her parents had left her, and then she's offering him wild rice, whatever is available, and she's saying you can stay this thing. And then this Dushmanta was very impressed with Shakuntala, and then he said, "Oh Shakuntala, your words and reception are quite worthy of your great family. The daughters of a king generally select their husbands. If you wish so, you can choose me as your husband." So he's saying, daughters of kings generally they do swayambar. So the girls have the power to choose their husband. So he's saying, okay, now since you have the power to choose your husband, you can choose me. He's as good as requesting, like, you choose me as your husband. So hearing this Dushmanta's proposal, Shakuntala kept silent. So she was silent, and her silence indicates her acceptance. So she was agreed. And then Dushmanta then immediately married there only. So he married there, and he stayed there and they married in the Gandharva style of marriage. So basically there's a mantra which is called Omkara mantra, he said, and the Gandharva style of marriage happened. And then she stayed there. And then Dushmanta also stayed with Shakuntala for some time there. And then he returned to his palace. So afterwards, what happened? Shakuntala became pregnant and she gave birth to a son. And his son was named Bharat. And Bharata was very, very powerful, And so the sage Kanva Muni did all the rituals for his child, and his son became so powerful like a lion. So Bharat Vansh also comes from this. So King Bharat came here, and he was so powerful to capture a lion, and used to play with him. And this boy was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And after some time, when this boy grew up, then Shakuntala took his son and went to the kingdom of Dushmanta. And she went there and she told Dushmanta that, you see, you are my husband and this is your child. Then Dushmanta actually initially refused, saying that, no, no, this cannot be, he cannot be my son, he cannot be my child. So he actually refused initially. But then there was a voice from the sky. So there was like Akashvani, and then it was announced, oh Dushmanta, Shakuntala is your wife, and that boy is your son. His name is Bharta. You should accept your wife and son without any hesitation. And Dushmanta immediately actually knew that Shakuntala was his wife and the boy was his husband. Boy was his son. And then but he wanted some proof, like people should believe. So that's why he waited. And then when this voice came, Akashvani happened, he immediately accepted them because Shakuntala was she was a chaste woman, and that woman declared the truth, and her chastity was proved, and he accepted. After that, Dushmanta, when passed away, his son Bharata was enthroned as the world's emperor. So Bharat ruled the king. So he's the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and he had a mark of Krishna Chakra on his right palm, and also he had a mark of lotus wool on the soles of his feet, and he was so powerful. He performed 55 Ashwamedh yagnas and on the bank of river Ganga, and 78 Ashwamedh yagnas on the bank of river Yamuna. So 55 plus 78, these many Ashwamedh yagnas he did. And his opulence and power was surpassed even by the great Devtas. He was more powerful than the Devtas. And nobody could imitate his Lord's extraordinary, wonderful activities. And this is the story of Shakuntala and Dushmanta. So this continues on this thing. So there's one small last chapter. So we'll do that. Then we'll be able to complete. So right now we heard the story of Yayati and Devyani, and then the story of Dushmanta and Shakuntala. And now the last story which is there in this book is of Ranti Deva. So Ranti Deva is one of the person who was selfless in giving charity. Whoever comes to him and asks anything, he will give it. Not even thinking, I have to eat, I am hungry, nothing. So this is the story of Ranti Deva, who teaches us how to be selfless in charity. So in the Moon Dynasty, there was a king named Ranti Deva, and he was an embodiment of kindness. Means he's the kindest person on the earth. Except after the Lord, if somebody is kind, he is the kindest person. If you ask him, he'll remove everything and give it. He was known for his great acts of charity, and he would take up difficulties upon himself to help others. And his name and fame spread across the earth and heaven. He became so famous, and he did not want to become famous. He did not do charity to become famous, but he was selfless and he was doing. And generally, when the devotees of the Lord, such people automatically become famous. And Rantideva was never greedy to earn a lot of wealth. He was never greedy, and he was happy for whatever the Lord arranged for him. So when guests would come to his home, without a second thought, he would give everything in charity. And sometimes he donated everything he had, and he and his family would fast for days because of no food. So he would have donated everything, and you'll find that he has nothing left for himself. He's not having food, so he's fasting for days. So once what happened, Rantideva fasted for 48 days. So he did a fasting for 48 days. And on the 49th morning, he was about to break his fast with a little food, which was made of milk and ghee. And just when he was about to eat, then a Brahmana came to his house. So when a Brahmana came, he saw that he requested Rantideva. So when the Brahmana comes, you are supposed to welcome him and give him. So when Rantideva used to see God in everybody. So when this Brahmana came, he gave him a share of food. And then Brahmana was happy. He ate the food and went away. So his half food gone. Then after that, when Rantideva, he split the balance food among his family. And then just when he was about to eat, then a poor beggar came to him. And then Rantideva thought, he's also a son of a child. He's a child of a god. And he gave him another share. So he gave him further share of food to that beggar. And then he always believed, everyone is a child of God, whether he be a Brahmana or a beggar or poor. So after this beggar went, so first Brahmana comes, he takes a share of food, then a beggar comes. Now there is one more guest came, one person came with dogs along with him. So he said, that person said, "Oh king, I and my dogs are very hungry. Can you give us something to eat?" So without hesitation, whatever he had left, whatever food was left, he gave to that person and to the dogs and to the master of dogs. And he was so patient and tolerant. So now he had nothing. So three people have come: first Brahmana, then a beggar, then a person with his dogs, basically, and then he gives everything. Now, no food is left with me. So now what is left with? He's left with some water which only one person can have. So he was only left with some drinking water. And that was only enough for satisfying one person. So just when he was about to drink that water, then a weak and fatigued man, basically a tired old man, he came and he was not able, he was struggling to maintain his life. Then he begged desperately, "Oh king, kindly give me some drinking water. I'm on the verge of falling unconscious." So Rantideva finally, he also felt, again, he felt pity for them and he offered a prayer to the Lord. He said, "Oh Lord, I am unable to see the suffering of these people. Please free them from all miseries. I am willing to suffer on their behalf. I am freed from all hunger, thirst, and fatigue by offering my water to maintain this poor man's life who is struggling to live." He's saying, "No, I don't mind to be, I am freed, in fact, from my hunger and thirst. Oh, and I would not, and by seeing that, I can give water to him so that he can maintain his life." So Rantideva immediately gave that water. When Rantideva was also on the verge of death due to fasting. Rantideva has fasted for 48 days and he was on the verge of death, but he gave this water to the poor man, and that poor man was satisfied. Then suddenly all the people who had come, the Brahmana, the beggar, that person with the dogs, and this old person, they all came and they stood before him. And actually they were Devtas, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And they had come to test Rantideva, who wonderfully passed the test. See, Lord always tests his devotees. So why does he test his devotees? Because he wants his devotees to be very powerful. He wants them to be super strong. They can handle any kind of situations. That's the reason Lord Krishna tests his devotees regularly. So here Lord is testing his devotee, and this devotee has come out very strong. And this is what then everybody reveals, and then they reveal their forms, and Ratideva became very happy and bowed in front of them, and then who blessed him. So the Lord wants to reveal their greatness to all of us by putting noble devotees through such tests. By the example of Rantideva, we understand that all living beings are children of God and must be treated equally. So we should be equal to treatment to all, be it a rich person or a poor. When we give charity, we should be equal to all. It's not that, I give charity to a person whereas he benefit. It's like should not be like that. I should give I should give charity to all people who deserve it that way. So lesson on spiritual vision. Wise people do not just see the bodily difference of living beings. They see everyone as a spirit soul, a loving child of God, despite their external differences. Knowing that God resides in everyone's heart, they treat everyone with respect and love. So this is the story of Rantideva, how kind-hearted he was, how such a wonderful person who donated everything. And then a lot of stories we heard where we learned that, this material life is these pleasures in our material life are of no use. If people have just lived and they have, realized that this is a waste of time and effort. So we should not spend our time on material life. I'll just read something from this thing. So here one more comparison is given. Like there is a person who is very educated in material knowledge. He's a very super educated person. He's a CA, MBA, and all those things. But he's doing intoxication, drinking alcohol, meat eating, illicit relationships, and gambling. Such life he's living. So even if he's such an educated person, he's as good as an animal. Whereas a person who is maybe born in a very small family, but He's not so much educated, but he's following all proper religious practices. He doesn't. He is a devotee of the Lord. He doesn't do meat eating. He doesn't do illicit sex. He doesn't do gambling. And such person is much more superior to a well-educated person who may be a CEO of any company. So the qualities, the material education doesn't matter. It is how much Krishna conscious we are. So here, Rupa Goswami says that he divides happiness into three categories. So happiness are divided into three categories. One is happiness derived from material enjoyment. So people who feel by say going on a holiday, going into restaurants, or whatever, having a good wife, good children. So this is happiness which is derived from material enjoyment. Then happiness derived by identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman. Basically, we want to become one with the Lord. So that is a little culture of Mayavadi. So they want to become one with the Lord. So that is second type of happiness. And third is happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. So here Rupa Goswami is given examples, and he says Lord Shiva has told to his wife, my dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness can be very easily awarded all perfections desired by materialistics, and beyond this he can enjoy the happiness achieved by pure devotees. So the person who is in this third category, who is in Krishna consciousness, he gets all the benefits which others are getting. He's getting all the benefits of what material enjoyment also people get. He gets all those luxuries also, but he uses that luxuries or whatever things he gets in the service of the Lord, and he gets all impersonation, and he can enjoy. For not only that, he further enjoys all happiness which is achieved by pure devotees, the association of the Lord. Happiness derived from pure devotional service is the highest because it is eternal. The happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself to be Brahman is inferior because it is temporary. There is no preventing one falling down from material happiness, because material happiness, we will fall down. And so suppose you do a lot of, pious activities to go to heaven. So when you go to heaven, once you complete those, since your pious activities are over and your material enjoyment is to that extent is over, you fall down. So when you fall down from heaven to the earth. So it is so hard, from such a top position. You see people when they fall from when they're so rich and suddenly they become poor. Like example, say Anil Ambani. So he was at a great position. So many companies he had. Suddenly he became he became bankrupt. And see how people fall. There are people who actually, this Cafe Coffee Day, who was CEO, he actually committed suicide because he probably had taken too much of debts. So when people are at a very high position, when they fall down, it's very difficult to handle that pressure. People really collapse. And that's what happens when people go to heaven and they fall down. Because in heaven, they enjoyed, they did a luxury life. But pure devotees are the one who gets everything. They enjoy also, but in control. They are in the protection of the Lord. They do not go out of control. So here, that happiness, which is by the devotees, is the ultimate happiness. It cannot be compared with anything. And then the mystic yogis, they do magic, they do a lot of things, but again, everything is temporary and they'll be kicked out. So there's just a minute, I'll see something. So here one more thing it is that Krishna can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. So in fact, Lord Krishna doesn't give you devotional service so easily. So we are very fortunate to get that. Why is it so? Why? It is explained, by the mercy of spiritual master who is a pure devotee, and by the mercy of Krishna, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. There is no other way. It's only by the mercy of Lord Krishna he can become a devotee of the Lord. And why such position is difficult? Because once he become devotee of the Lord, Lord sells himself to his devotees. He will do anything for his devotees. That's the reason becoming devotees is so difficult. So in this universe, we have so many human beings, so many people, but very few are devotees of Lord Krishna, because it's not very easy. So it has to be, it's easy as well as not easy. If people follow proper chanting, uh, association, reading, it is easy. But that thought to get that thought in our mind, that is difficult. People don't realize, that there's an easy process to become devotee of the Lord Krishna, and then they don't realize that Lord Krishna, once we become devotees of Lord Krishna, we'll be the best. We'll get the best of the things in our life. He'll give us Bhakti, he'll give us devotional service, which is the ultimate thing. So here is basically the Lord easily offers liberation, but he rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service. Because by devotional service, the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee. So this is the power of devotional service. So what is it? The Lord easily offers liberation, but he rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service. Because by devotional service, the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee. So that is the power of a devotee. So one more, like it is said, it said, suppose a Brahmananda, basically a person who wants to become one with the Lord, the happiness what he gets, if it's multiplied 1 trillion fold, 1 trillion times, if it is multiplied, still it cannot be compared to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service. So the ocean of devotional service is so supreme. It is just if a person is in material happiness or a happiness of merging with the Lord, that is, even if it is multiplied 1 trillion fold, still it is just a fraction of atom of devotional service. So that's the power of devotional service. And that examples are given of Prahlad Maharaj and everybody. So this is what the power of devotional service is. So I pray to all of you to have devotional service in your life. Lord blesses all of us with his devotional service and association of the devotees. Do chanting, do reading, do listen to kathas wherever you can. Do spend time on these activities, because these are the only activities which will help us. Rest all is practically useless. Material wealth, those things will not help us in any way. This is all temporary. And devotional service. So this is where I will end this session and this season. Vancha kalpatu vaisha kripa sindhu vayo ivacha patitanam pavane vayo vaishnavi vayo namo namah. Any questions? Okay. Hare Krishna, Gaurav Prabhuji, how are you?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा. आप कैसे हैं?
Krishna, बस बढ़िया. So we'll end